Good afternoon, YouTube. It's Lance with Ultimate Canine, and today we are going to talk about my dog is destructive. Now what do? So let's say you have a dog that destroys things, eats your couch, chews holes in blankets, eats socks, eats drywall, chews on the molding, is just destroying your house. When can I let him out? When can he have freedom in the house? That's a hard question. And that's a very frequently asked question that I get. If the dog is destroying things in your house, you have to look at what you've trained into the dog. So for instance, if your dog is chewing up blankets, socks, are you giving them toys that have material on them or stuffing in them? Because at that point, you're training your dog that it's okay to chew on this because you gave it to them. And then you get mad at your dog when they chew up the blankets, the couch, or destroy other components of your house that are material orientated. Everything that you give your dog, you have to understand your dog is going to then think it's okay to destroy anything that's very similar to that throughout the rest of your life. So if you give your dog a leather toy and then they chew a hole in your $5,000 leather couch, that's your fault. You taught them to do that. You should only give the dogs toys that are made of rubber, like I've covered in some other videos. So there's not very much rubber in your house. So a rubber Kong ball, for instance, if they understand this is all that I get to chew on and destroy or attempt to destroy, everything else should soon come off limits. Now with that being said, choking hazards come from all of these things. So to stop these behaviors, you're going to have to be on top of your dog. And if you're not, they are going to have to be in a crate or in an enclosure where there's nothing they can harm themselves with. Because at the end of the day, your dog is going to be the one that gets harmed. They're going to eat a sock, ingest a sock, create a blockage, $3,000 surgery, or they might be too far down that rabbit hole to even benefit from the surgery. Blockages are dangerous and they kill a lot of dogs every year. Some things you can do to stop that is you could get a shorter leash, a 6-foot leash, and you could get a cheap carabiner, put it through your belt, and have the dog follow you around the house. He has to follow you. Then you can watch him. Testing the dog is a very bad idea. Let's see what he chews up. If the dog has potty training issues, you're not going to let the dog run around and pee everywhere in your house either, or you should not, because you're training him to pee inside, and that's going to eventually destroy your house. Hardwood, it gets between the cracks in the hardwood, wreaks havoc on hardwood because it's high salt content. It's going to break down that wood, it's going to break down that coating, it's going to ruin it. Carpet, some of the newer laminate floors, like the floor in this room here, it can withstand all of that. It's meant to. It's completely waterproof. It holds up. But again, I don't like to clean up urine either. So you need to monitor the dog. You need to cut down the space that the dog can get into. And you need to, if you do not know how to, you need to stop that behavior by hiring a trainer to teach your dog how to hold positions. Holding positions are not tricks. They are to keep your dog out of trouble and to teach him a proper thing, and then reward for the proper behavior. You need to reward when the dog is doing what you want, laying where you want, focusing where you want. You cannot just expect the dog to stop chewing things because, oh, he's a puppy, he's going to go through that phase. You have to be on top of that and stop and redirect that behavior to what you want and then reward accordingly. If you do not, that behavior is going to exacerbate and get worse and worse and worse, and then you're going to get rid of your dog, you're going to turn him into the shelter because he's going to go to somebody else's house and do the same thing and then go back to the shelter as many times until somebody puts him to sleep, but it's not your problem because you dropped him off the shelter. I have a video on that as well. Dog safety is important, and your relationship with your dog is equally as important. So if you have to, get a trainer. You should prepare yourself for this before you get a dog and understand and get those things off the floor. Puppies get into everything. They're exploring with their mouth. So you need to do your due diligence and get the information about a good trainer in your area, talk to them, vet them out, understand what they're capable of, can they fix this, just talk to them. Figure out your price point. Save up for training. Look at reviews. Ask him questions. You have to keep it safe for your dog, and if you start on the wrong foot, you're just teaching your dog how to destroy your house by themselves. So you can restrain your dog to yourself, you can have them in a crate when they're unattended, all those things will help you. But you have to reward correct behavior, number one. And you have to do something about the incorrect behavior. Having the dog drag a leash around your house, if he's not carabiner or tied to you, that's another good thing. If he starts to get into something bad, you can pick up the leash and you can move him. If you don't do that correct enough though, you're going to create more power towards that object. So there's a lot of dynamics here and it can get complicated. So at the end of the day, find good professional help. Look on YouTube, there's lots of videos like this one, other ones, but for destruction of your house, you're going to have to bring somebody in to help you, and don't wait till it gets too far. It's a deep, dark hole that you get into with all this, but the longer you let it go, the worse it's going to be. Sometimes it can get really, really bad. So thanks for watching. See you on the next one.